Well, good afternoon everybody from Mindy, and hello from me. I'm Rachel from Lion Learners North Lincolnshire. Now then, yesterday Kristen's video covered part of the Year 2 curriculum, and she showed us some things that were alive. We met some animals and a plant. She showed us some things that have been alive. We saw a lovely snail shell. And she showed us some things that have never been alive, and we met a soft toy, our lovely mascot Lionel the lion. Now, following on from that, today we are looking at 3 specific animals, and we're going to have a talk about what it is that these particular animals need to survive. As Kristen told us yesterday, all animals need food, water and oxygen in order to live. So here we can see Mindy the bearded dragon having some food. So we're going to have a look at a bearded dragon, a rabbit and some giant millipedes, and we're going to see what particularly these animals need in order to live and have a healthy body. Because all animals are different, we know that, and we've been looking at different types of animals over the last few weeks. We've looked at different animal groups, and we've seen that all animals have a lot of differences. So Mindy, to live, Mindy needs oxygen, of course. Mindy gets her oxygen by breathing air, just like we do as humans. So Mindy has lungs, like we do, and she breathes air on the land. Not like a fish, who still needs oxygen, of course, like all animals, but a fish gets its oxygen in a slightly different way. It can only breathe in the water. So both animals need oxygen, but they get it in a different way. She was really enjoying her food, and now she knows she's being watched, doesn't she? She knows we're looking at her. She says, "Why are you watching me eat again?" So food. There are lots of differences in how animals eat and what they eat, what kind of food is available to them. And we've looked at carnivores and herbivores and omnivores, haven't we, over the past few weeks. Mindy is an omnivore, and that means that she likes to eat meat and plants. And she needs meat and plants in order to have the right kind of diet to make her body healthy. She says, "I don't want any more just at the moment, thank you." I think we'll have a closer look. So, bearded dragons need different nutrition to, say, a lion, a carnivore, who needs an awful lot of protein. Bearded dragons do need some protein, of course, and they like to eat crickets and locusts. And Mindy's got a few mealworms in her salad you might still be able to see, but I think she's been picking them out. But they also need the goodness that they get from plants. Now, bearded dragons need especially a lot of calcium. And just like we need calcium for our bones and teeth to grow strong and stay strong, Mindy needs calcium for the same reason. Bearded dragons can very easily get poorly if they don't get enough calcium. So they also need vitamin D, which we can get vitamin D from food, and so can lizards, but they mainly get theirs from the sun. Now, Mindy is a bearded dragon. She's coming out. Mindy's a bearded dragon, and she would live in Australia, where it's a lot warmer than it is here, of course. Now, she's cold-blooded, and that means that there's something extra that her body needs to stay alive, she needs warmth. A lot of animals are quite good at surviving in the cold, but Mindy would not survive, well, not in this country really. She'd be all right at the moment, but she'd still like it to be a bit hotter. But especially in winter, she would not survive, because her body needs warmth in order to function, in order to keep working. And that's why she likes to bask in the sun all day long. So how do we look after Mindy as a pet then? How do we make sure she's got everything she needs? Well, we make sure she's got oxygen, of course. That's not too difficult. There's oxygen in the air. But inside her vivarium, she's got vents. You can see that black circle. That helps to let more air into her vivarium. We give her the right kind of food, of course. We give her the right diet. We give her lots of fresh water. Now, Mindy's body doesn't need as much water as most animals because she lives in the desert. Her body's got to be quite good at functioning if she doesn't have much water. But she does still need some, of course, to survive. And she does get a lot of her moisture from her plant matter that she eats as well. So she's got a big water bowl at the other end of her vivarium. I'm not going to show you it just yet because I don't want to tread on her. She's right next to me here at the moment. We have to make sure she's warm, so she's got a spot lamp there. And that helps to keep this side of the vivarium a lot warmer than this end of the vivarium. She also has a UV light. You can see at the top we've got a UV light there that goes all the way along the vivarium. And that is a bit like the sun. That gives her body the vitamin D and the goodness that she'd get from the sun. So we're trying to give Mindy all the things that her body needs in order to stay healthy. So there's the rest of her vivarium. She's got her big water bowl at the end, you can see, and hides and rocks. And the main thing with a lizard like Mindy is that she's got to be kept at the right temperature. Right, I'm just going to close up her vivarium so we can say bye-bye Mindy, and we're going to go outside to meet the next animal. So out here we should have the lovely Jemima Rabbit. Are you here? Let's pop ourselves down here for a moment, and we know what will bring Jemima out of here. She's got some lovely cabbage. Are you coming out, Jemima? Coming to see us? I think I'll go and put a bit of cabbage in front of her nose to tempt her out. Excuse me. Come on, Jemima. Now it's a bit laid round the other side of this run, but I don't think she's realised it's there. She's looking for some shade. Now she's only in here for a few minutes to meet us. She lives with her husband in a rabbit shed that I'm going to show you in a few minutes. But for now, we'll just have a peek in here. Hello, Jemima. Hello, Jemima. There we are. Now, Jemima's quite different to Mindy the lizard. She doesn't need as much warmth, for one thing. But, of course, just like any other animal, she needs food, excuse me, and water and oxygen to stay alive. So, like us and Mindy, oh, she's not showing herself today, is she? Let's have a look round here. She's gone into the... There we go. Come on, Jemima. Let's say hello. She does. She wants the shade. Bye to her in a minute. She can go back to her husband, Jasper. So, yes, she breathes oxygen. She has lungs like we do and like Mindy does. She would be able to breathe in the water, of course, like a fish. She needs the right kind of food. So we do feed her some rabbit food from the pet shop, but not much. Her diet should mainly be plants, well, all plants. She should eat mainly grass and weedy fruits like dandelion leaves. and we can feed her some veg and a little bit of rabbit food. Not too much. A wild rabbit wouldn't go to the pet shop and buy itself a bag of rabbit food. She should be able to get the nutrients she needs without too much of that. But not like a carnivore, she doesn't need loads and loads of protein. But because she's a herbivore, she needs more food than a carnivore would. It's very important for a rabbit to keep on eating. Otherwise their tummies can get very, very poorly. Their tummies stop working if they stop eating. They stop working very quickly. So whilst a lizard like Mindy would be able to go a long time without food, Jemima can't go long at all without food or water. She needs more water than Mindy, of course, because she wouldn't live in a desert. So her body is not good at coping without food or water. There we are. There's lots of other things rabbits need to be healthy and happy. They do like company, they like to live with another rabbit, and they need lots of space. They like to have a good run around to keep their bodies fit and healthy, and that's what rabbits would do naturally in the wild. So looking after Jemima, we need to give her everything she needs. So she's got a big rabbit shed that she shares with her husband Jemima. They've got their run attached so they can come in and out as they like, and we make sure we feed them the right kind of food. We give them plenty of water every day, and of course they've got lots of oxygen to breathe out here. They've got everything that they need. Right, we'll have a look at our last animal today. We've got water and oxygen to survive. I'm just going to move here, just going on a bit of a journey, because I think my internet connection's going a bit funny. We should be okay now. So there we are, we can see them crawling around there. Breathing oxygen like we do, like Mindy the lizard, like Jemima the rabbit, but they don't have lungs like we do. In a slightly different way. They've got little tiny breathing holes all the way along their bodies, but they're still breathing oxygen. They're still taking in oxygen from the air. They wouldn't be able to breathe underwater like a fish either. Having a good chug around for us. I always think they look like little trains. So of course they need food. Now we do feed them on bits of fruit. They've got some grapes and some pepper here. Bits of fruit and veg. But in the rainforest they would eat fruit, but they also eat old leaves, old bits of wood from the trees, any decaying stuff that they find rotting away on the ground. So you can see in their tank they've got old bits of wood and rotting wooden leaves in there. So they need that to keep their bodies healthy. And water, of course. Don't really need a water bowl, but it's more important that they live in a very damp place. So in the wild, they would live in the rainforest, because in the rainforest it's nice and warm and it's nice and wet, and that's how their bodies need to stay alive. If we put Alice the millipede here into the desert with Mindy the bearded dragon, she would not survive. Her body needs a lot more moisture. Even though she doesn't need a big drinking bowl, her body needs a lot more moisture to keep her alive and healthy. So there we go. 3 different animals, all with the same needs: food, water and oxygen. But they all have different ways of going about getting those needs. And then some of them have other needs as well on top of that, like Mindy the bearded dragon. She needs to be kept very warm. The millipede needs a very damp place to live. For Jemima Rabbit, it's important she's got space to run around, somewhere she can dig under the ground to make a burrow and keep safe. Okay, I think we'll say goodbye then. So join us again tomorrow at 2 o'clock when Lynn will be showing you some of her animals, and you're in for a treat because we're looking at babies tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow, 2 p.m. Bye-bye.